So we sit anxiously waiting inside of a grand mansion. It has very, very high walls. It is a very nice day. But a few clouds start rolling over, covering the sun. As the shadows go across this great mansion, there are mausoleums across the back, many tightly woven. As you weave through these mausoleums, you come and there's an elevated one. In this elevated mausoleum, as you go up a few steps, you can see a few figures looking at someone else. There is an unmarked mausoleum, but it does have a crest. There's a crest of a great noble house that has been in Hubsheim for many, many years. But this young elf that stands before this mausoleum knows, just like the two guards that are with him know, this mausoleum is empty. It was built there waiting for bodies that may never come. These bodies are the bodies of this young elf that stands before the door. He watches and waits and thinks for many years, comes here, and this is where he feels the closest to his family, since they disappeared so long ago. Very rarely does his aunt and uncle, that are his stewards, come and visit him here. So this is why he comes here. So the guards stand and watch over him as they always do. You know, there are many servants that protect him and make sure that his stewardship is well protected by his aunt and uncle, or in the house as they always are. He has studied long and worked hard to become as knowledgeable as he can, considering he's never really been allowed to leave the grounds of his great estate, the Allrun estate. The Allruns have a long history of being on the councils of Hubsheim here in Thetadolyon. But it's been almost 30 years and no Aldrin has sat on the council of Hubsheim, since both his parents disappeared at a tender age of almost 20. His aunt and uncle has come to be his stewards in that time, and they've watched over and made sure that the mansions and the affairs of his mother and father have been taken care of until the young master actually becomes the master of the house instead of just, the master in waiting. But over the last few years, this young elf has felt tension growing. He has snuck and studied and watched and learned and interacted with and spoken with many of the people that have worked for both his parents when they were alive and the new people that his aunt and uncle have hired. He's become keenly aware of how people act and think, and along with his books, he feels quite confident that he believes how the world is. Sadly, again, he's not been able to experience these things himself. He longs for the day that he is the master of the house and he can freely walk inside and outside of the gates of his estate. Every day and every time he ever wishes to leave the estate, everyone reminds him, "We don't know what happened to your parents." But they feel that his lineage has been cursed, and if he would step outside, he might suffer the same fate as his parents. So everyone is there trying to prepare him to make sure that he can do what he can. His family business was magic, and making sure the arcane, and making sure the arcane was delegated well. He's heard stories his whole life about Hubshan University, or the university in Hubshan, this highborn university, this university that supposedly is such a wonderful thing about controlling magic. His parents were high investors in this. They worked with the council. They made sure that the kings and queens of Hubshan were funded the university. But no magic has ever really dwelled in this home of his. It's like, why has it not? But he's studied and he's learned. Sometimes he's seen shadows, and sometimes he's felt like there have been presences around. There are even times that he feels that he sees colors and shapes and other things in the great ships that fly above his head. When he looks out, he feels his aunt and uncle do not see the things that he sees. They always seem to denounce magic or complain about the heritage of their family dealing so deeply with magic. Magic has never done anything good for anyone, they feel. They feel the university is a waste of money. They feel that their interests could be elsewhere. But begrudgingly, they continue what his parents continue to do. So, over time, this young elf has went and sought guidance at a place that he feels that is the closest his parents would ever be to him, the unmarked tomb of his mother and father. And this is where we pick up with the young elf. So, and is it Tavar? Is it, how do we say it?
Tavar.
Tavar. Just T. So it's almost right. So Tavar sits there, and one of the guards says, "Sir, we cannot stay out here very long, Master Tavar. It's like they say that there might be bad weather coming. You know, the school has been gathering students like they normally do, and legend is always that there's always bad weather that rolls in while they're collecting these students. So it's been a while since we've had a storm, so we probably don't need to stand out long before we need to go back to home and then go back into the mansion."
I turn to the guards and state and ask them to lend me time to sit and recollect with my family.
Persuade them. So you'll roll a 20, and then you'll add your persuasion modifier on there.
Okay. So I hit a 20.
Oh, so it's 20?
Yes.
So a 20 is like, for us, is the best possible outcome.
Okay.
Doesn't always mean it's a success. It's the best possible outcome for 20. So, and of course you have your modifier, and if it wasn't a 20, you would add your modifier to it. But if you ever say a nat 20, so what would the modifier have been?
Is it +6 on persuasion?
Oh, so that's a good one. So yeah, so if you'd rolled 19, that'd have been 25.
Okay.
But a natural 20 is still better than a 25. You get the best possible outcome. So the two guards look at each other, and like one walks off without saying a word and gives you space. The other one steps up and says, "Now, young master, it's like lately your aunt and uncle have been coming here too. So this would be a surprise to you." And it's like, I would highly recommend not letting them catch you here, so they might think something's up. And they hurry off. So you have that piece of information. It's like, how does that make you feel? Though that knowing that they've come in here.
It makes me feel a sense of unease that they've been visiting their empty tomb.
All right. So I'm not going to have you roll history on it, but as far as you know, it's like you don't ever notice them, or you've not really seen them come often. They don't even talk about it. They haven't even talked about your parents often. You always have to bring it up. So the fact that they're coming here. How do you feel about the tomb? I'm using some of your natural stuff. You know, it's just. Do you feel like they're just coming to and do what you do, stand outside, or maybe the door?
I feel like they're checking, as it's a place I come to often.
Okay, so you can investigate to see if anything's been disturbed or messed with. So that's a roll if you wish.
Okay.
But you just tell me, it's like, do you want to investigate the door?
Let's investigate the door.
Okay, so you'll do a roll.
A 20.
Yeah, it's always a 20 unless.
A 1.
All right, so that's 1 is the worst possible outcome. So like it's funny, you went from a 20 to a 1, so you hit the two extremes. So 1, it doesn't matter if you have a plus 15 modifier. A 1 is always the worst possible outcome. The worst possible outcome in this case is you're trying to investigate, and before you can do it, that actually you hear in the background your aunt and uncle talking to the guards. Using your you have passive perceptiveness. So I'm not going to have you roll for it. Normally, if you don't know, you'd roll. But so you actually hear their voices back there. Mm-hmm. So your aunt and uncle are back there. So it sort of interrupts you looking at the door. So do you wish to continue? Do you want to try to do another investigation roll and push your luck, or do you want to try to do something else, or do you want to try to hide?
Yeah, I'm going to try to hide by entering the tomb.
Okay, so if you enter the tomb, you don't want it to look disturbed, right?
Yes.
So that would be a sleight of hand roll.
Okay.
So normally, like, not one person's having everything, but so you can do a sleight of hand roll. So because you're trying not to make a big deal out of it. So
13.
All right, and then plus your. If I ever ask for a roll, more likely it's a skill that's through there.
+1 on a sleight of hand.
So that's a 14. So go through. So none of the people down there notice. I rolled against it. So you can enter yourself into the tomb. Okay. So you're inside the tomb. Do you feel like you've been inside here before?
Yes.
Okay. So there's 2 empty tombs in here. Both of them are cracked open to show that they're empty. You know, it's like they're slid down. It's sort of like a tradition to say, you know, that we're here waiting. But if they're ever fully closed, it's thought of, well, they are dead. Mm-hmm. So since they're open, you know, they think that they're gone, but we don't know. So that's why it's like that. So you have this tradition of, you know, you're gone, but until we know for sure, you're not truly. So they won't truly be sealed. But they are full of some of their possessions, out of respect and also protection. So you're welcome. You can look in either casket if you feel like looking at it, and there's possessions in each.
I would like to investigate one of the caskets.
Which one?
Father.
The father's. All right, so you can go up to your father. So if you can roll, you can move it up and do that.
Move up and then roll.
Yeah.
Rolled a 7.
Okay. So nothing seems out of place. But 7 plus, because you actually don't have.
+2 investigation.
Okay, so it's not. So you're going through. You don't see anything that's out of the ordinary. You've been in here before, so you probably helped bring stuff in here at some point, or others, but nothing seems to out of place. You're welcome to do more, or you go over to look at.
I want to look through his belongings.
Okay, so you go through. So yeah, you don't have to do anything or the roll necessary for that. You're not in a hurry or whatever.
Yeah.
So you go through, and eventually you find something that does interest you. It's your family crest. It's an amulet. So you've seen it there many times. You know, the head of the household always had the amulet, but this is the real one. Your uncle carries one. That, of course, he's your dad's brother. But you know, this is the real. This is the true amulet. It's different than what your uncle parades around.
I think I'm going to reach and hold the amulet.
Okay. So you reach in, and when you hold the amulet for a second, things sort of flash and slow down a little bit, and do a study action. So it's going to give you a chance to do study. So and that gives you a free insight. So you just do it. Just do an insight roll.
9.
Okay, plus. So you don't have to call out the dice necessarily unless it's a 20 or 1.
Okay.
But then you can give me the total.
11.
All right. But it sort of feels for a second like everything sort of slows down to a little halt. Just like it's almost like a blink and eye stop, and you sort of look around. But you do notice that there's something else deeper inside of the casket that you've not noticed before. It's under like a cloth.
Okay, I'm going to investigate the cloth.
Okay.
Or under the cloth.
All right. So you look under the cloth, and it's a dagger.
Mm-hmm.
So it has some type of arcane writing on it. You may do an arcana check to see if it's magical.
I'm going to do an arcana check on the dagger.
Okay.
And it's a 15.
Okay, so you feel the blade itself isn't magical. It's got like writing and stuff on it, but you feel you got the dagger in one hand, you got your amulet in another, and so when you're studying the magic, like it's almost like lightning flows through your hand and goes through your body and into the dagger itself, and the writing on the dagger glows. It's not the dagger; it's the amulet taking it from your hand through you to the dagger. It's like you're enhancing that dagger.
I think I'm going to decide I want to keep those.
Okay, so do you try to put everything back how it was, or you just?
I think after I feel that sense of power from those, I want to have them for myself. It feels right to keep them.
Yeah. So okay. Do you like the tombs? Do you set them back how they were? Because like I said, you got to go through.
Yeah.
To sort of fold the little cape or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I set all the other things back to how they once were.
But yeah, the thing had been folded, and actually you never really noticed, but you saw the hump of it didn't lay flat, so that's why I finally felt that you could see. But the crest had been there on the pillow for where the heads are waiting, so you got the crest, so you feel through. But you feel the magic at this point. But this is when you think you hear something outside. There's outside the door. At this point, you can do a perception to hear. So if you say you want to see if you can hear something outside the door, you can.
Yeah, I want to roll a perception to hear what's outside of the door.
Okay, so you move over to the door. And just roll. You can roll. I'm just moving.
Okay.
because you can't see out the door.
It'd be 11.
Okay. So I want to see. Sorry. So there's a lot of whispering. You're having a hard time. You hear voice. You hear voices. It's definitely your aunt and uncle. You can't hear them though. Now, you can just walk out. You don't know if they're since you can't hear. You don't know if they're going to come in here, if they're just out there, or what they're doing.
I'm not going to take any chances, and I'm going to stay inside.
Okay. So do you want to hide inside?
I will hide.
There's not a lot of places, but you might be able to hide from initial stuff. So that's a stealth roll. So you don't have heavy armor on, so you're not at disadvantage. So you just do your stealth roll. Tell me your number.
11.
Well, you're gonna do your best. So you get into the one spot. So you sit here for a while. So you occasionally think you hear stuff outside. So you don't know what's going on. So while you sit here, you're thinking about, you got this arcane power. You've read about enchantments. There's a lot of stuff that you know. Is this where you want to try to make your oath, or have you been thinking about it?
I think I'll make my oath inside of the tomb.
So, you've heard about paladins. You've heard, and you're not even thinking that you're a paladin. You're just thinking, there's these promises. You've heard all these things that you're supposed to give power. So you're sitting there looking while you're attempting to hide at both these items that you're through. So you're thinking about making a promise.
Yes, as I look down at both of the amulet and the dagger.
Okay. So, and what is this promise or oath? So can you describe it and tell me what this oath is?
So my oath would be that I want to make this promise to find both my father and mother and figure out what had happened to them and why they had disappeared. Is it from this magic that both of my aunt and uncle have been discouraging me over? Or is it something much deeper than that?
Yeah, because there's been no magic items in the house. There's been nothing. You've seen it from inside. You've seen magical objects. You've seen metal men, clockwork men. There's been, it's hard miss to train, flying ships and all this other stuff, and even some magical animals in the distance. But you've never actually experienced the magic until now.
Mm-hmm.
From everything you've been based on, it's a very, very rare thing, and people that have magic end up disappearing, going to the school, the university there. So when you make this promise, both the dagger and the amulet, it's like glow on their own. So and the dagger glows really brightly with the wording and stuff on it. And your words. When you say the words, the writing on the dagger disappears, and then the wording appears on the back of your amulet. You can feel it on the back where you're holding it for it. It's like, so when you flip it around, your oath is there along with the words of the writing of the amulet. You don't know what the writing. They're arcane symbols, but they're there and it's diffused in. It's almost as if you absorbed the channel that was on the knife and it went into the amulet.
It sort of merged into one.
Yeah, it sort of pulled it in. It's almost as the amulet drank the spell. It's almost like you can saw the words almost pour into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost in your thoughts. It's almost like it drank drank it.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to roll for it. There's a great commotion outside. It's very loud. So the one thing I'm not going to have you roll for because it's so loud is just, like you keep hearing, who did that? What caused that? It's like, that should never happen here. So there's anger, there's all sorts of other stuff out there.
I'm going to go outside and see what the commotion is about.
So when you open it up, you now see your aunt and uncle, and the guards sort of spread around, and you've seen these orbs going around. They're always around. Your aunt and uncle have moved all these orbs outside. There's none in the house, but occasionally they keep finding their way into the house, and they keep moving them. They've always just call them, they joked and call them a neo headache. But there are some outside, and just, no matter what, they're just there. So when you come out, the very first thing you notice is that orb is glowing. Extremely, extremely bright.
May I investigate the orb?
Yeah. Again, your aunt and uncle are there, and when you come bursting out, they both stop and look, and they're like, "What are you doing here?"
I would look to them and explain to them that I felt something pulling me to my parents' tomb once again.
So your aunt looks at your uncle, and your uncle's eyes sort of narrow and slit. They're like, "Who was drawing you here? Did someone tell you about this place?"
It was an instinct of mine to come here.
And so we're looking, they're like, what instincts could a possible young boy have unless it has been taught to them? It's like, who's told you about the magic item that's in that tomb?
I want to say I've heard whispers of it.
So have you? Or are you just trying to deflect them?
I'm trying to deflect them from...
Alright, so that's deception.
Okay.
So...
7.
Alright. So, you feel that your lie didn't come across very well. And your uncle looks, and it's like, which one of you guards have been filling his head with and allowed him to go into the tomb? We know you let him come out here. Which one of you allowed him to go into the tomb? You know that everyone here has been strictly told that no one is allowed to enter that tomb under any circumstances. So both the guards sit there and look through. So and your uncle pulls out a small ball. It's like the orb that's there. Think of that orb about the size of a basketball. Well, he pulls out one about the size of a baseball. And you've never seen him use something like this. He's always had like a pouch on, but he's never is into the pouch. So and he moves his finger over that, and he goes, "Report to the headmaster." And it's like you're fired. And he fires both the guards right there. So, and they both start to leave. So.
I will turn to both of them and ask them, why are you keeping me from this tomb?
They're like, do you not know tradition, boy? It's like, oh, you're only supposed to go in there. It's like when either you know for sure that the bodies are not coming in it, or you take the bodies in. It's like, to be a proper lord of this place, you must know the rules and our traditions. It's like, so lying, saying that you felt something to pull you in there, it's like it's not very becoming of a future master of the house. I guess I've failed in teaching you. So that now that you've activated this, do you not know the consequences of this ball glowing?
I will ask him, what are the consequences to this?
So you've been tainted by magic. And soon, it's like we'll have some type of aberration come to our home, and they will take you.
Take me where?
They will take you to that school. Or they will try to.
And is this such a terrible thing?
Well, it's the last place that I heard that your father and mother were going. They will take you beyond these walls, and then we'll never see you again.
Well, maybe I will be able to find my parents.
Have you not thought about that if your parents wanted to be found, they would have came back? They gave up everything and they ran.
You don't know that. Maybe they're stuck or trapped.
You know, the ball glows. It's like more. It almost feels like it's like the ball is calling to you. So, it's like in your mind you feel like it wants you to touch the ball.
I want to approach and touch the ball.
So your aunt says, "Stay away from this. We can hide this. We can make it like it never happened." Do you still touch the ball?
I will touch the ball.
And so you touch it. So, and when you do, you see a swirling image of your parents standing in front at the gates of Highborn University. You also see an image of yourself standing with them a couple times, especially when you were quite young, going through like under 10. Carried there as a baby, so you've been there before. It's just been a long time. So there are gates there. There's a tall fence, and there's gates, and it has on the metal gates an HU, and it says Highborn University on top of it. And you go through, and you remember seeing images of an observatory and a great gate, and coming in and going through the gate, and there's like a dragon there waiting, greeting your parents, and it sort of fades out. And the last is, as it fades out, you see an image of a train. You see an image of a train coming in front of the gate. Almost like letting you know there's a train coming to get you if you wish to get on it.
I wish to go to this college and seek my family.
Your uncle's like, "I cannot be a steward of your home if you're not here for me to be the steward for. Just know if you leave, you might not have a home to come back to if you are even able to come back."
I say let it be. I want to search for them.
Okay. All right. So at this point, they both look quite upset. Is there anything out of the tomb that you want to take?
May I investigate my mother's tomb?
You can. So you don't have to move it. You can just
Okay.
roll investigate.
At 20.
Okay, so that's a good roll with your modifier. So you go through, and inside of this, you see some armor. It's like where you're young, it would fit you or whatever. There's this, unisex or anything. So it's some nice pieces of armor, and you realize that the armor's over here. That cloth that dagger was in was actually like the cloak that would sort of wrap around it. So they are, they're materials for anything that you want to basically arm yourself. So, and on your mother's side, there's a bow and has writing on it too.
I'm going to equip myself with this armor and the cloak from my father's tomb.
And put it over. Do you take the bow too?
Yes, and I take the bow as well.
All right. Like I said, it's a very nice, ancient bow. It's an elven bow. So you come out, and both your aunt and uncle just look almost disgusted and also terrified at the same time. So the aunt looks, and they're like, it's like, we warned your parents too. So do you walk out and leave and go to the school?
I walk out without saying any more words to them.
All right. So you walk out and you go out, and for the first time you're standing at the gates. You're standing at the gates of your home. You know, the guards sort of step back from you. Like I said, you're armed. Like I said, you've got your dagger. You got this cloak with your family crest on it. We'll say you got like a nice crest on it. You got well, actually, we won't say the crest is on your cloak. We'll say it's on the quiver of the arrows and this nice bow. You're shining. You know, like I said, like even though it's been in a tomb, there's no dust on this armor at all. You know, there's not like full decked out armor, but it's enough. It's like this pieces, gauntlets, and stuff. You know, you've never worn anything like this. You've never done anything like. But it feels like it's molded to you. It's light. It's not super heavy. You know, again, the dagger's there, and as you come closer, the crest that you have, your family crest that you have, causes the gate. There's a crest on the gate. You've seen it from afar, but you've really never got super close to it lately. The crest closes and the door opens up, and surprisingly, again, there is this train that's hovering off the ground there, and the door opens, waiting for you.
I'm going to approach the train, and I'm going to step on.
Okay. And you step on, and there are several other little classmates on there sitting, and they're like, "Welcome. We're going to Highborn University. Are you a student with us?"
Not currently.
It's like, well, there's one person sitting on there, and they look back and say, "We hope to change that, because if the door opened, that means that you can be a student." And the door closes behind you, and the train moves off and heads to Highborn University, which is a great mansion. And then you get up to the gates, and everyone starts getting off, and everyone gets ahead of you, and you see those gates from your dream. You walk through the gates?
I will walk through the gates.
So you walk through the gates. There's a very short halfling, which you've never seen. There's very few halflings. You know, there's very few halflings. She's very, very old. And she says, "Don't hurt any of the flowers. Tomorrow is opening ceremonies. And go in and get your room." So you come up to the door, and the door, all the other students aren't around. The door's there. There's a dragon on it. It's like a serpentine dragon, and that's holding an orb there. It looks like the type of orb that you're at the place. There's no door knockers or anything. The door's closed. What do you feel you need to do to get inside the building?
I want to investigate the door.
Okay. So.
Maybe 19.
Okay. So 19. You look like it doesn't look right. The orb doesn't look right.
Mm-hmm.
It looks out of place. It looks like it might actually be an orb. Do you want to mess with it?
I'm going to mess with the orb.
All right. So you put your hand on the orb, and it activates the door, and it like glows, and it opens up, and you move in. So you're now inside the university. There's someone there who tells you. They take you to the room. They're called a level 3. They move you to the room, and there's a door. You'll get a chance to decide what's in your door when you come in. Like there's an art easel in your room. There's a bed. There's a fruit basket. But the door will turn into whatever you want it to. So you'll get to describe how your door is inside and out. It emerges to your hopes and thoughts. So you can tell people that when it's time. And tomorrow is opening ceremonies. And if you attend opening ceremonies, you will be an official student here. And with that, we're done with yours.